Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Shri Chaitanya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Radha Kalachan Ji ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. I have been ordered by Rupanuga Prabhu, or I will not say requested, but he asked me to start giving classes again. So I am here as an obedient son, and I am giving this morning's class. If I am able to speak something, it is the empowerment which comes from the instruction. If I am not able to present properly, it is my own limitations. So please forgive me for that. We'll be reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Leela, chapter number 9, verse 191. So this is a chapter where Lord Caitanya, he's traveling through South India, and he's visiting all the places, and he meets this Brahmana who was a devotee of Lord Ram. And his mood and his absorption in Ramayana was so much that even though he invited Lord Ram for prasadam, when Lord Chaitanya arrived at his home, he asked him, where is the prasadam ready? And the Brahmana said, no, only when Lakshmana will bring the firewood, I can cook. So he was living in Ramayana, and Lord Chaitanya, he understood his mood, and he then instructs this Brahmana. And then these are the verses, some of the verses with Lord Chaitanya he says. 191. Ishvara prayasi sita chid ananda murti. Prakrita indriyera tanre dekhite nahi shakti. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Sita Devi, the dearmost wife of the Supreme Lord Ramchandra, certainly has a spiritual form full of bliss. No one can see her with material eyes, for no materialist has such power. Verse 192. Sparshi vara karya achuka napaya darshan. Sitara akriti maya harila ravan. To say nothing of touching Mother Sita, a person with material senses cannot even see her. When Ravana kidnapped her, he kidnapped only her material, illusory form. 193. Ravana ashitei Sita antardhana kaila. Ravaner age maya Sita pathaila. As soon as Ravana arrived before Sita, she disappeared. Then, just to cheat Ravana, she sent an illusory material form. There's a place in Nasik, it's called Sita Gufa, and that's the place where she hid herself, and then material illusory form. So whenever any devotee goes to Nasik, you can request Sham Keshav Prabhu to arrange for the trip. He and his family very kindly took us to that place. It was such a meditation. Verse number 194. Aprakata vastu nahe prakrita gochara. Veda Purane te ei kahe nirantara. Translation. Spiritual substance is never within the jurisdiction of the material conception. This is always the verdict of the Vedas and Puranas. Purport. As stated in Katha Upanishad, na sandresha trishtati rupamasya na chakshusha pashyati kascha nayanam rida manisha manah sa abhiklupto ya etat vidur amritaste bhavanti naiva vachana manasa praptum shakyo na chakshusha. Spirit is not within the jurisdiction of material eyes, words or mind. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:84-13 states, Yasyatma buddhi kunapa tridhutuke swadhi kalatridishu bhauma ijyadi yat tirtha buddhi shalilena karhichit Janeshva abhineshu saeva gokhara. A human being who identifies his body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of his body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. I'll read translation once again. Spiritual substance is never within the jurisdiction of the material conception. This is always the verdict of the Vedas and Puranas. So in the Vedic times, in every household there used to be a cow. And the members of the family, generally the mother, the lady of the house, she would milk the cow. And there is an art how to milk the cow. If you don't know how to milk the cow, then instead of milk, the blood can come out. It's very unfortunate now they have designed several machines, and And the cows, they are milked through machines, very, very impersonal. So similarly, the Vedas, the scriptures, they are like mother cow. If we are not tuned properly to what the scriptures are saying, then we will be reading the same purport. We will be reading the same scripture, the same verse, but our conclusions will be wrong. We will misunderstand the scriptures. So that's why it's very, very important we practice Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. And that is being mentioned here, that the spiritual substance is never within the jurisdiction of the material conception. Many times we see there is a lot of debate going on the Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and everybody is quarreling. This verse means this verse means that, and this is how it needs to be done. And we are no exceptions, because we are not pure devotees yet, and our conclusions can be wrong. And that's why the guidance of the Guru, the Sadhu, and the Shastra are very, very important. And today's Narshing Chaturdashi as well. Ritadoj Maharaj will be giving the class in the evening. But I thought of one verse which Prahlad Maharaj, he says, and he glorifies the role of spiritual master. And the verse number is Canto 7, Chapter 9, verse 28. Even in the same trip, when Lord Caitanya, he was traveling in South India, he met one Brahmana who was reading Bhagavad Gita upside down. He did not know how to read. But while he was reading, he was crying. And Lord Caitanya, he asked him, why are you crying? And then the Brahmana said, because I am seeing the Lord, I am seeing this picture, and he has taken the role of Arjuna's charioteer. And then Lord Caitanya said, you have understood. But this Brahmana, he says in the verse, Murkh Ami. So Murkh Ami means, I am a fool. So when we present ourselves in front of our spiritual master or our superiors, we have to come with this assumption that I am a fool. That sets the right mood of asking a question to the spiritual master. I was born, or I'm from an old generation now, and till today, even if my father or my mother, if they ask me to do something, I have never questioned them or asked them why. So I've never used this word in front of them. Why? Because that was the culture. And as the times are changing, I'm not saying it's wrong to ask why, but that why has to be with the understanding that I don't know and I want to understand. It's not a challenging why. Why? the Murk army. So before we sleep and when we wake up, this should be our consciousness when we pray. So in this verse, I'll say, Evam janam nipatitam prabhava kupe kama bhi kamam anuya prapatan prashangat kritva asmas kritva atmasat surashina bhagavan grita soham kathamnu vrishreju tava bhritya sevam. So Prahlad Maharaj, this verse is speaking the heart. He is speaking his heart. So if you have to understand Prahlad Maharaj's heart, this is the conclusion. My dear Lord, O Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narad Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? So when Nrsingadev asked Prahlad Maharaj, ask some boon. So this is how Prahlad Maharaj, he presents himself. Purport. As will be seen in later verses, even though Prahlad Maharaj was directly offered all the benedictions he might have desired, he refused to accept such offerings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant Narad Muni. This is the symptom of a pure devotee. So we are not pure devotees yet, but that is our aspiration. We never want to approach or serve the Lord directly. Even though we serve the Lord, but that is under the instruction of the spiritual master. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant Narad Muni. This is the symptom of a pure devotee. One should serve the spiritual master first. It is not that one should bypass the spiritual master and desire to serve the Supreme Lord. This is not the principle of Vaishnava. In the material world, it's like a rat race. And in the corporate, they say, like it's the corporate ladder. In the corporate ladder, everybody wants to go higher and higher and higher. And each step on the ladder is considered like a tool. And when we bring that idea into our Krishna consciousness, we can start considering the association of devotees, our spiritual master, as a step that, after serving my spiritual master, I will start serving the Supreme Lord. And then there is no role for the spiritual master to play. So even though we don't do it grossly, but there are subtle tendencies within us where we try to jump. We try to jump the steps and bypass our superiors, our spiritual master, our guides, our friends. This is not the principle for a Vaishnava. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. So the seed of devotion, it comes by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Krishna makes arrangements for Guru to appear in our life. And the Guru make arrangements for us to be engaged in Krishna's service. Narottam Das Thakur says, Tandera charana sevi bhakta sanivas janame hoy ei abhilash. One should not be anxious to offer direct service to the Lord. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu advised that one become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Das Das Anurdas. Once during a gathering, I asked Mother Manjali, what she thinks about this pastime of the Lord. Yes, I will repeat it. So that is why it's affirmation, what's coming, it's something very, very important. So I asked her, about a certain pastime. What is the mood? What do we learn? And her conclusion was, follow your spiritual master. Don't try to understand the pastimes directly. And how do we understand the spiritual master? By serving gratefully. If we are just serving, Haldar Maharaj, he was here. I was listening to one of his lecture. If we are just serving, we are chanting, we are reading Bhagavatam, we are doing all the processes of Krishna consciousness. But if it is being done in an independent mood, it is not Krishna consciousness. So that mood of independence cuts us from the Guru Parampara. And then all these activities, they just become pious activities. They are not activities in Krishna consciousness. So for us to get the benefit from the Parampara, from our line of spiritual masters, to get their blessings, we have to execute Krishna consciousness under a direction of bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, we'll get lost. We might be practicing Krishna consciousness throughout our life, chanting, but we may miss the point. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, he wrote the book Servant of the Servant. Here it's saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that one become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And if he entitled his book, Servant of the Servant. And that was his prominent mood, Guru Nishtha. For one thing which Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is known for, is Guru Nishtha. And all the senior disciples of Srila Gurudev, we observe in this community, this mood, this surrender to the Vani of Srila Gurudev is most prominent. So I was not fortunate enough to meet Srila Gurudev, but I have met his dedicated disciples. And I have observed Srila Giriraj Maharaj, Ritadoj Maharaj. If you just observe them, they are on a very, very different platform. And they have achieved that platform through serving their spiritual master, the authorities, gratefully, with the mood of pleasing their superiors. Whenever we come to the temple, this is the mood we have to come in. I don't know. I need to learn. But if our mood is, I know, and I'm here to share all what I have learned, then our lecture, our words might inspire the people, those who are listening. But our heart will not be transformed. We will be stuck. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord. The first service should be rendered to the spiritual master, so that by his service one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to render service. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. One can achieve the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru, the spiritual master, and then by the mercy of Krishna. This is the secret of success. First, one should try to please the spiritual master, and then one should attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. One should attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by concoction. One must first be prepared to serve the spiritual master. And when one is qualified, he is automatically offered the platform of direct service to the Lord. When Haldar Maharaj, he was here, he was saying, in India, whenever his Radha Govind Maharaj, right? Gaur Govind Maharaj, I'm sorry. Whenever the disciples, used to approach Gaur Govind Maharaj, please help me understand this. Why Lord said, some philosophical understanding. Gaur Govind Maharaj, he would, immediately say, please continue to serve. And then the conclusions or this understanding will come. So it's not that we cannot ask question, we can. But it is through service that the conclusions, not the concoctions, the conclusions of the scriptures are revealed. So that service in the mood of the servant is very, very important. Now we are very sophisticated servants. Maharaj was saying, we are very eager to take picture. We are very eager to, it's fortunate, they also understand we are looking for affection. We are also looking for love, and it's okay. It's not that it's totally inappropriate. But in order to move forward, we have to understand the heart of our spiritual master. And we understand the heart of our spiritual master by serving. We will be chastised, by the spiritual master at times. And then, rather than accepting, for our improvement, we'll get offended. And we'll stop talking to our spiritual master. And we'll get angry with our spiritual master. And all this means is we have not understood the depths of Krishna consciousness. We have not understood, what it means to be a disciple. We are still floating on the surface. Whenever we go to a hotel or some other place, and we are paying for our reservation, the receptionist or the team will receive her very, very nicely. Will talk very, very sweet words. But their intention is not to benefit us. Their intention is to take something from us, so that we keep going there again and again, and we keep making the payments and the business go on. And I remember my mother, I will say it because when I was small, if she would be angry at times, a shoe will fly from the other part of the room. And then I will know, that I am. But all those experiences, I can still say, I definitely feel that she loved me the most. She loves me the most. So don't judge the book by the cover. Don't judge the spiritual master by his actions. We are not at that level. Understand the heart of the spiritual master, understand the mood of the mother. Apparently it may seem that our spiritual master, our mother, they are chastising us, but they are chastising us for our well-being, for our welfare. It is very unfortunate that things have degraded at such a level that those authorities have been taken from the mother. No, I'm not saying the mother should beat the child, but there should be healthy fear. The child should have of parents, because with that, the mother, the parents, they can protect the child, guide the child, upbring the child. It should not be out of frustration. And that brings us to the Mother Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. The family, it operates on the principle of interdependency. Just like all the organs in the body, they are interdependent on each other. If the mouth says, or if the ears, they start saying, why only the mouth is eating? No, I should be eating. And we start feeding to the ears, we will not be nourished. And if the mouth says, I will just hold everything in the mouth, I will not digest it, then also the body will stop functioning. Similarly, in a family, all the members, the mother, the father, the children, the grandparents, the uncles, aunts, they all work on the principle of interdependence. If we take this authority away from them to correct our children, they will be missing a lot of their learning. And mother, she is like the heart of the family. I'm learning it. I have not learned it yet, but I'm learning it. I learned it, when Mahatma Prabhu came. He in one of his t-shirt, there was a quotation. It says, husband in progress. So the role of the mother, I learned from the eyes of a child. I'm learning about the role of a mother from the eyes of husband. And I'm also learning the role of mother from the eyes of daughter. So I'm very, very blessed that I have a great mother who loved me so much, great wife who is very tolerant and patient, and I'm learning through her. And I'm also learning through my daughter, because we are different, we think differently. But it's very important to keep that mood of learning. Very, very important that the mother's role is appreciated and not taken for granted. Generally in today's society, everything, we can say, who is appreciated the most? Who is bringing the money? And that person thinks that I am the most important person, and rest all are supposed to serve me. Again, it's principle of independence. We are interdependence. The husband might be doing one role, and if the mother is working or not working, there can be different time, place, circumstances where she might have to work as well. But the motherhood is a principle, that cannot be taken away, even if mother is working or not working. So that should not be taken away, and lot of support should be given to the mother so that she can execute that role. If she is happy, the children will be happy, and the husband will definitely be happy. This is a secret. And I was reading one article by Rukmini Mataji. She is the mother of Gauravani Prabhu. And she has been an excellent mother, a disciple, a wife. And she was saying, she was traveling in New Jersey. What I'm going to say is, it may break our hearts, but this is the reality of Kali Yuga. And she saw a billboard, and it was written, if you don't want your baby, don't throw her in a dumpster. Bring her to nearest fire department or police station, and no question asked. They will take your baby. Just don't throw her in the trash. So this is the state of our society. This is how much Kali Yuga has advanced. That she doesn't have a support system. She doesn't have any other choice. If it is in the billboard, means there are cases like that happening. And it's very, very unfortunate. And it's not, the fault of only one person. It's the overall degradation of the society. There is a need to work interdependently, not declaring that I am superior, I am better. It doesn't work like that. We are very fortunate to live in in the Radha Kalachandji community, where we have super excellent mothers, who have served their spiritual master, who have served their children, who have served their husbands, who have served Shri Radha Kalachandji. And from my experience, I can tell they are even the better crisis manager than men in general. They can handle crisis much more effectively even than us. We thank all the mothers in our community for their contributions, for all the sacrifices which they have given throughout the years and helped our community where we are. Yesterday, I was thinking of Mother Lakshmi Priya. All her children were playing role in organizing we have Drishtadumna here. I've seen him since he was like 4 years old or something like that. And great fruits come from great trees. So thanks to Mother Lakshmi Priya, Mother Manjuli, Mother Kunti. We have Narsingharupa Prabhu, Neel Madhav Mataji, we have Kanchana Konda, and Kumkumangi Mataji,